According to prisonpolicy.org, about 15% of the state prisons, 25% of local jails, and 40% of federal jails and prisons are filled with drug-related cases. When looking at the percent of jails and prisons that are filled with drug cases, there is a justifiable solution to reducing the number of drug cases all around. The solution would be to send those caught using drugs to a rehab center instead of jail. By doing this, we would lower the levels of inmates in prisons and jails and get help for those struggling with addiction. When looking at the percentage of drug-related cases in jail, you can see that drugs are one of the main issues next to violence. With drug cases being one of the highest problematic things in the system, there is a more reliable way that we can help lower the number of drug cases in jail. The way we can help lower these cases is by sending drug addicts to rehab instead of sending them to jail. By doing this, we help lower the populations in prisons and jails, help with trying to get them on the right path with getting over their addiction, and we would save billions of dollars. When you step back and look at what drug addiction is, you see that it is a disease that affects the way you think on a daily basis. By noticing this, you also notice that drugs do not affect everyone the same. Therefore, everyone's recovery is different. When placing those with a drug addiction in jail, we're preventing them from getting the specific help they need. When placing them in a rehab, the rehabs look at the specific things that that person needs to recover and places them in a much more stable and positive environment than any jail or prison could. Not only does sending those with addictions help with their health and well-being, it also cuts costs tremendously in many different areas. According to dualdiagnosis.org, if only 10% of those arrested due to drug-related charges are sent to rehab instead of jail, $4.8 billion would be saved. And if 40% were to go to rehab instead of jail, $12.9 billion would be saved. One way we are saving money automatically is the fact that rehab up front is a lot cheaper than incarcerating people. Now, looking at health care costs, when you send someone to rehab, they are more likely to recover than when you send them to jail. Because of this, the health care costs for that individual are a lot cheaper in the future. From having to deal with addiction firsthand, I feel like this is the best idea. After talking to my uncle, who's a recovering addict himself, I was able to understand why those with addiction should be taken to rehab instead of jail and prisons. Not only does it help the addict, but it also helps the family and those that are affected by this disease. Despite what you might think, sending those with addictions to rehab instead of jail or prisons is the best choice. There are many pros to it, such as lowering the number of inmates and the amount of money that would be saved by doing this. Not only does it also do all these amazing things, but it also helps the addicts in the long run. Thank you.